Hi everybody, Jared Johnson here with Daytraders FX. In this video, we're going to discuss how to use the strategy tester in Metatrader 4. Now, the strategy tester is used to backtest our strategy, as you would imagine. So when we install an expert advisor, an EA, a robot onto our trading platform, we can backtest it. We can backtest it for a week, a month, a year, depending. The further back we want to test it, the more data we're going to need to install, and that'll be another video for another day. But we can backtest on various time frames with various parameters and kind of get a feel for how our expert advisor or our robot is doing. This is very important because some expert advisors depend on certain types of market conditions to do well, and we need to know what those market conditions are. We need to know what kind of drawdown we're facing. We need to know how this thing is basically going to perform. Now, one thing to say about backtesting, little disclaimer, I guess you could say, backtesting is so important for learning to kind of tweak our robot to make it work the best we can, but backtesting also doesn't take into account the fact that it's all happening in a very short period of time. We might test 1 month in 1 minute. Well, when we're forward testing, when we're trading something live, we might think, geez, I had great results in back testing, but my forward testing is going terribly. And that's because as human beings, if we see a trade that's in loss, we want to just close it out, minimize the loss, and so on, instead of letting the expert advisor do its job. And that can very much change our results. So remember, back testing can feel a little bit different than forward testing, but it is a very important way to work and tweak and adjust our strategy to make sure that it's working correctly for us. Okay, to get to back testing and how to kind of get this working and functioning for us, we have all these buttons up here, right? We have all these buttons. This guy right here, this is our strategy tester. It's right next to our terminal button. So we've got our terminal button right there, and we've got our strategy tester. If you put your cursor over it, it's just going to say strategy tester or Control R. So you can hit Control R on your keyboard to bring it up as well. But if we click on that, that's going to bring up this screen. Now, this screen might look a little bit busy, like there's a lot of stuff on here. What does this all mean? I'll show you. First of all, this will pull, right here is saying our expert advisors and indicators. You can backtest indicators and so on, expert advisors. We're going to use an expert advisor here because we want to see how this executes trades. In this case, I'm using the DTFX little helper. But anything that I have installed in my expert advisors right here will come up on this list here. So I can select from all of these guys here. So anything that pops up there, I'm going to be able to test with my strategy tester. So I'm going to select what I want to use. In this case, I want to use the DTFX little helper. I'm going to select what symbol I want to trade it on. Let's just use the pound dollar for the heck of it, but you can select anything you want. So we'll use the pound dollar. Over here, you can select use every tick, control points, open prices, and these have different kinds of advantages, I guess, to each one. So we're going to use every tick to kind of get the most precise reading possible. Over here, we're going to pick where we want to start and where we want to end. If you want to start, if you want to say, I just want to test 2 months ago, let's say I want to test, September 1st to September 30th, and we're in January or we're in March or whatever. You can do that. Now, remember, when we're back testing, only so much data is available. So you may find it difficult to backtest, 5 years ago because there's not enough data in our charts that's stored in there. There are ways to upload data and to add data, and you can find out how to do that. We'll talk about that maybe in a later video, but if you have that issue, that's why it is. So it's best to just backtest, the last few weeks, the last few months, that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm just selecting here just the last 2 weeks of trading, right? Over here, I can pick what time frame do I want the robot to run on. What is it time frame specific? Some are not. Mine is definitely time frame specific. So I'm going to run it on the 15-minute chart. Over here, under expert properties, this is the window that's going to say, what do we want this to do? Do we want this to buy only, to sell only? What's our initial deposit, balance parameters, all those details. Inputs are going to say, what do we want this thing to do? Now I have this set kind of at my default inputs, but you can change that, right? You can change that. You can say, in this case right here, I want a stop loss, or I want and change my stop loss, my profit targets, whatever. I've got some default settings in here that I'm going to keep, but this is where you would adjust everything, is in your expert properties. And then you've got, a couple of different things here. You can go to visual mode right there. That runs a little more slowly, but that'll show you the robot executing trades and things kind of running there. So once I've picked the robot I want to test, the time, the currency pair I want to trade, the time frame and the parameters I want to use, the dates and so on, I'm just going to click start. Now, I don't usually use visual mode because it just slows down the process. I just want to get the testing done quick. So if I hit the start button, it's going to look like this right here. Collecting, you can see down there it's collecting and so on. It gives us a real quick test. So we're done. So over here I can look at results. I can see all the details of the trade. What did it do? This will show me some various parameters and so on. I can run through that. I can see a graph. So you can see I started right here, and this is lower than where it started. So it looks like this probably lost some money, right? And I can see all those details over there. They're saying, okay, I started off at $1 a pip. This ended up, after 2 weeks of trading, it only took 8 trades, and it lost $118, right? So this is going to tell me my profit factor is 74. I'm making 74 cents for every dollar I'm losing. And my absolute drawdown, number of trades, and it'll tell you the details over here, right? So this actually made $342, but it lost $460. So we kind of had that discrepancy there. You can see expected payout, maximum drawdown, short positions, profit trade per trade, consecutive wins. You can see all these details over here, and you can read through that, and that'll tell you how it's doing. So that's how we're going to test that. Now, for me, if I try, and we want to try multiple time frames, right? If your robot is affected by time frames, I'm going to try the 5-minute chart. We just did the 15-minute chart. Let's see if the 5-minute chart's any better. Same time frame, same settings, just on a smaller chart. So I go over here. Oh, my graph looks very different over here. My results. This took 9 trades now, 1 extra trade, and it came out $183 in profit. My profit factor is 1.54. For every dollar I'm risking, I'm making an additional $1.54. So it's a good profit factor. You can see that this gross profit here, it made $524, but it lost $340. So I still came out ahead, and we can see all those numbers and all those details there. The strategy tester in Metatrader is so important. It's so good to use. It's just so good. I'd recommend getting very familiar with it. Use it, test your strategies, create strategies, backtest them, tweak them. It's a really great way to familiarize yourself with Metatrader and with what your expert advisor can do and is able to do. I hope that's helpful. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Jared with Day Traders FX, check it out. Good luck on everything.